Okay. I have the funniest story. And I already started recording it once and I had apple turnover on my mouth. So I'm doing it again. But it's a really funny story about how when I was homeless and not really knowing where to go, I asked this guy, like, hey, where are you going to go? And I kind of trailed along with him one night. And so we went to a motel room of people that he knew. And they were like, there's too many people here. You have to leave. And so we were like, okay. And he knew of like another motel room of people that he knew across the street. And so we were going outside. We were like about to cross the street and I light up a cigarette and cops pull up. And I'm like nervous. I had warrants because I wasn't checking in with my PO. Sorry about the nails. And so I was already nervous, but like I would go into like everything's fine mode. So like they couldn't tell that I was like freaking out. And so they're asking us for our information, but the system was taking too long. So they're like, okay, well, why don't you go? So the guy starts walking across the street and I'm like, oh, what can I do with my cigarette butt? Like, can I like toss it on the ground? And he's like, no. The cop was like, no. So I put it in my pocket. I don't feel like a dummy, but I put it in my pocket and I'm like, okay, thank you. And I go across the street. Well, I'm like, I know the number of the room, but I don't know where, like where the numbers are. And it's like a motel. Like, so all the doors are on the outside. It was a Motel 6. And so I'm looking at all of the downstairs numbers, and I'm like, okay, like I go upstairs and I'm like, okay, now I understand how the, 100, 200 works. So where is this room? It must be on the other side. And so, but I could see the cops were coming back. They must have got my information. And so they're like, they were like coming down the street. I could see them. And I was like, shit, I don't think that they could see me yet, because I was kind of tucked and like looking at these room numbers. But I knew that I was going to have to go around the back side of these rooms to go around to where the room was. And that was the way that the cop was, like they were like slowing down and kind of like looking around and stuff. And I was like, fuck, like, what am I going to do? And so I took my coat off. I was like, okay, like I can't go out there looking the same, like I gotta change my appearance. I had like a white t-shirt on. And so I took my coat off and I was like, this isn't quite it. And so I look around, it's raining. So I grab water that's like pouring off of the frickin' like the roof, I like stick my hand out there, get water, and I like slick my hair back. My hair's crazy right now. I have like leave it or hair mask in, but and so it was like it was the beginning of a disguise basically. And so I like slick my hair back and I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do with my coat? And so I'm like, perfect idea. I scrunched it up and I stuck it in my shirt. And then, I've been pregnant before, so then I put my hand on my back and I walked over to the room and I knocked on the door. I put my hand back there and they opened the door and they were like, what the? What are you doing? And I waddle in and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, the freaking cops are out there. They're just like so mad. They're like, what? You came to this room and like the cops are out there? And I was like, no, they didn't recognize me. And they didn't. Like, we got away. So it was a really long time ago, you guys. I'm sorry. I am so shaky. It was like 17 or 18 years ago. And I was a totally different person. And I laugh because it's like, how was that real life? Like, what was I doing? How did I just don't know. And, a warrant for not checking in with your PO because you were at somebody's house and somebody came, I'm pretty sure it was a setup. Somebody came to this guy's house and they had like a big old bag of cocaine. And he told her she had to sit in the living room. She didn't know I was there in the garage. And so, like, the cops show up, like, right away afterwards. And eventually they were like, you got to come outside, And so my friends' kids just get home. Like, they just get home from elementary school while this is happening. And I was like, I am not going to let these kids see their dad get arrested. Like, so I said, whatever you find is mine. Like, and he's Mexican, you know how they are. And this was 18 years ago, and they're like that back then. So yeah, my dad was really mad at me, and it was just a possession charge. Like, they didn't slap me with everything, and I think because they knew what I was doing, but nobody else got in trouble for the stuff that I know of, and so it was just kind of like one of those situations where, like, it didn't fucking work the way we didn't know this chick was inside. so yeah, but not gonna get the white girl, the pretty white girl. that was always my guess. So, but yeah, so funny stories. Haha, don't do it. Don't go out there, because it's just getting worse. And you know what I realized? It's just all one big psyop, one big mind fuck. Like, I eventually did go to jail for that warrant. Excuse me. I went to jail for that warrant, and nobody put money on my books. And then I actually was pregnant. I actually did get pregnant. And, not that night, but, gross. Sorry. But yeah, like, I ended up going to jail. I didn't even, like, I was like, you guys could have, like, let me have a Snickers bar or something, but no, that's okay. I had salt and pepper soup at night. And eventually, when I started showing, my little belly started showing, then they gave me a little sack lunch, and I got a peanut butter sandwich, an orange, a cookie, or like a piece of cake or something like that, and a milk. And all of the girls would swarm me when I opened the orange, because they'd be like, oh, it smells so good, because, like, didn't get that stuff. And then they'd be like, can I have a piece of this? Can I have a piece of the peel? I'm going to rub it on my face. I'm like, okay. We've been making facials with my oranges. Okay. So yeah, that was a little story about me. I'm a goofball. And I got in trouble, but I was still really goofy about it. Like, that's the thing. Like, I tell stories about, like, my criminality, and I think people probably think, like, oh my God, like, she was like, when she says criminal, like, she was no, I was just a doofy criminal. Like, I was like, and when I got caught, I'd be like, like when you play tag when you're a kid, man, jig is up. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. I know how this works. Like, that was me. So I'm in the real world, and I've been in the real world, and helping people, trying to help people get out of the mind game, because yeah, we run around, we get scraps. We did. I still kind of don't. We would run around and get scraps of money and then give it to somebody. They give us something that was like pennies on the dollar, and it just messed with us. And wee! Are you having fun yet? Wee! Sorry. I gotta snap out of it. I've been laying in bed all day. Okay, I love you.